Welcome to another episode of Inside CG, and today, a little bit different. I've got Coach Duran sitting all the way from Brum, and if you don't know what Brum means, that's Birmingham. And if you don't know where Birmingham is, it's in the UK. And if you don't know where that is at all, you can watch Peaky Blinders. So Duran, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate it, Pamorn, honestly.
Talk us through a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and what you're all about, what brings you here.
So, I'm Duran, boxing coach from Birmingham. I've had a few amateur fights. Come to Australia just to travel, and then what happened was I didn't even stumble. I just seen an advertisement on the internet for a coach for Champions Gym, and I'm not going to lie, as soon as I walked in I thought, I feel at home. It's bang on here. So I just want to thank the guys from Champions Gym for allowing me to coach here, allowing us to do the podcast as well. Everybody come check the gym out. It's a wicked environment. I'm not just gaslighting or putting Pamorn on a pedestal because he's next to me. I genuinely mean it. It's a brilliant vibe, great coaches, great members of the staff, and yeah, great fighters here as well, man. So definitely come check it out.
So talk us through your sort of pass back home. Talk us through, let's start with where your hometown is, where it is, what it's all about.
So I'm from Birmingham. It's like I've said previously, it's a tough town. It's a working man's town, but yeah, there's a lot of crime that goes on there. So I feel like a lot of lads, not even a lot of lads, a lot of females, a lot of people do get into combat sports just to try and make it out of the environment, to be honest. Yeah. So it is a tough town, there's a lot goes on, but yeah.
Tell us one of the craziest stories so we can get some context of how crazy the town is.
There's some, that's a bit of a tough one because there's
gun crime, knife crime?
Oh yeah, I've had a gun pulled out of me. I've had knives pulled out of me. It's tough out there, man. It's tough. It is tough. Like, I don't want to go too much in detail on that, but yeah, it's tough.
How do you find boxing?
I love it. I'll be honest, I owe a lot of my life to boxing. A lot of my personality is around boxing. It's made me a better person. I've made good friends through it. It's got me out of a lot of trouble as well. It's put me on a career path. I'm able to help others through boxing as well. It's brilliant. I'm so glad. I thank my dad every day for naming me Duran. Do you know what I mean? He's a big boxing fanatic, my dad is. So, yeah.
How did you fall into the sport more importantly? Tell us your story.
So, we've always been around boxing because my dad, like I said, he's a fanatic. He's done a little bits and bobs of boxing himself when he was younger. But mainly I got into the sport because, like I was saying previously, racial bullying. I didn't want to get picked on no more. When I cut my hair at 11, I just changed a bit as a person, and I thought, I'm not having it no more. And the reality of it is as well, I still did get a lot of drama. I'm not going to lie, I still got beat up quite often. I was getting racism from everybody when I cut my hair. But yeah, so it did help me, give me a bit more courage, a bit more confidence to deal with confrontations, how to assess and address certain things. Is it worth getting involved? Is it not? It also gave me the courage to like stand up for people as well. Like random people that I didn't know, I'd help them out as well. And not like I'm saying I'm some superhero or nothing, far from it, but I just didn't like seeing people get treated dirty.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
What's your fondest memory of boxing and using it for good?
To be fair, like the coaching side, the competing side was good, but the coaching side, when you see kids come in from broken homes or have real bad issues, as in like bullying, anxiety, no confidence, and you see them develop and you see their progression, it's rewarding, man. Honestly, it's rewarding. Like it's really good, man. That's what I love about boxing and coaching. It's just seeing people's progression. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. So you got some questions prepped for us today.
I've got some questions
We're
for
flipping
you.
the script. You're going to ask me a question, but I like to make it a bit of back and forth conversation.
Appreciate it. So I just wanted to ask you, like, would you start talking about boxing? Where did Thai boxing come from? How did you get involved with it? How did it all start?
Yeah, so my mum and dad started the first authentic Muay Thai gym here in Australia back in 1989.
Okay.
And I was born in 88, so by the time I was in nappies crawling around the gym, I didn't know any better. Didn't want nothing really to do with Muay Thai.
Yeah.
It's cool to watch. Love the sport, very passionate. You have this authenticity when it's like a family business.
Definitely.
But I think one thing that I realised, because my dad was like, you're the boss's son, you got to be the best. And I'm like, fuck you, man. Like, I'm not being the fucking best. Pressure's on. I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
And then it got to a stage, I played soccer, football, cricket, rugby. I played according to the seasons, whenever it changed, I played a new sport because I loved it, right?
Yeah.
But then going to high school, I was just thinking to myself, I'm going to get beaten up here and I don't know how to handle myself, so I better start training. So I just started training every day after school and fell in love with it, and there was no pressure. By that stage I think my dad realised, he was like, I just take my foot off the gas and whatever happens. But I think it's a pursuit of personal challenge constantly, like you're always looking for ways to challenge yourself. As a young teenager as well, 11, 12, 13, you start to have testosterone starting to peak, and you want to test yourself against the other boys in the gym, especially the older guys.
Definitely, 100%.
And I was like, I just want to keep trying and testing myself and pushing myself to see what was possible. And, there was this story that we talk about. We used to, kids after school, talk about jumping off a bridge into the water, right? 10 of us will be on the bus on the way there, being like, yeah, we get there, we're going to jump off the bridge in the water. You get there, there's 2 or 3 people that do, and the rest go, nah, they change their mind. I always wanted to be the guy that said what I was going to do, and jump off the bridge, not be the kid that sat back. And part of training is you then have to fight, or you don't have to, but your progression naturally is to fight as a young man, and that's kind of how I found myself into it.
Okay, fair. I'm just going to check my phone because I did have a few questions written down. Just bear with me, because this is quite an important question. It's the weekend, it's Friday, what's Pamorn wanting for a takeaway?
Tonight?
In general, any weekend, because I'll be honest, takeaway night's every night for me.
Takeaway night for me, I would say, I always try to go something healthy. I'm thinking like a burrito's good, but I'll give you a meat, rice,
nice
salad. What about you?
Me? It's going to have to be fish and chips, but I'll be real with you, I'm not keen on the chips here. They're not...
Are they too wide or are they too skinny?
They're not great, man. You need to come over to England and check out our fish and chips. Fire. Mushy peas, curry sauce. It's banging.
I never ever saw that combined.
Have you not?
Man, if you think it's good, I'm willing to give it a go.
I'm going to make you some. I'll make you some, brother. Yeah. Okay, so as a businessman now, how would you say that the sports helped you with business? What kind of things like?
I think I delivered this speech to 198 kids yesterday, and I talked about how I tried so many different things, but in high school the teachers would always ask me, where do you want to be, or where do you want to see yourself when you leave school? And it kind of made me feel like I need to have it all figured out by the time I'm out of here. I still remember my year 11 teacher actually asking me, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I said to him, I'm going to be the owner of a brand, I'm going to be my own boss.
Nice.
And he was like laughing at me, and I'm like, I still remember his face, almost like, hey, yeah, okay, righto, we'll see. And I'm like, see. But when I realised doing all these other things, I unstacked sea containers at 4 a.m. I swept the wheat bins up on the wheat belt. I was an education assistant. I cleaned the school when it was closed. I even baked cakes and tried to sell them to the teachers at recess to make extra cash. I did so many fucking things. But then I realised, when I had a good hard look at myself, what did I want to do as a human being? I was like, giving back to others. When you help people lose weight, they feel healthy, they feel good about themselves.
Definitely.
When you help people stop drinking and smoking, you know they're going to live longer. When you help people build a sense of character within themselves or self-belief, you see the way they carry themselves change. And I was like, that there is something that I've never really fallen out of love with, and I love that. And that's why I kind of found myself starting with Champions Gym.
That's impressive.
So yeah, like for me, the goal has, long story short, I guess the question you asked and the way I answered is pretty shit, but it's long-winded.
Thank God. Go on.
But what I was going to say is that I've always wanted to better the sport and add an air of professionalism to it, because in the 80s it was a gangster sport, it was a fight sport, it was a blood sport. And I've tried to evolve the Muay Thai, the boxing, to become something where the mainstream can feel that anyone can do it. Your mum, your sister, your daughter can train without feeling like they're going to be like, tough man club.
That's fair. And so would you say that was what was wrong with the industry then? It's more like gangster. It's not even though sport is considered as equality for both genders, it was just mainly male dominated, and that's what you're trying to change. I
think before, I know she's now a WWE star, and a lot of people would mock her for her change of code, but when Ronda Rousey kind of had her peak in the UFC as a female fighter, I think a lot of men and women took notice. So what that did is it kind of broke the stereotype away from it just being a men's sport. Like she was tapping people out, and she was choking them out in like crazy amounts of time, and she became this huge focus. By then I think we're in our 4th or 5th year of operation, and I definitely saw that kind of give a meteoric rise to women getting involved with fight sports. So it definitely broke the stereotype. But I guess when to answer the question about like what was wrong with the industry itself, I think a lot of old fight coaches kind of always just saw it as a hobby outside of work.
Yeah.
And they kind of did it on the side of their day-to-day job. And one thing that I found hard was like, how do you deliver, or the question that I always had as a business owner was, how do you deliver a great product and a kick-ass service if you're doing it as a hobby?
True.
And that's why I decided to go all in and create something where I could employ staff and give them a great career, doing what they love, and also doing it well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So would you say that's the same? So you clarify the issues, sort of, not issues, but what you felt that was needed rectifying in the Muay Thai fight game. Would you say, in the fitness industry in general, what would you say the biggest problems are with that?
The biggest thing with the fitness industry,
commercial gyms and things like that, and like what you find, what's the problem with that?
One of my biggest frustrations with the fitness industry is there's a lot of fitness fads that come and go very quickly.
100%.
Like people will jump on certain things and it will last for 3 to 6, maybe 12 months, and then they move on to the next thing.
Definitely.
The thing that I find and why I'm frustrated with that is because no one ever forms a solid skill set that they can then, kind of have consistency with.
Definitely.
Whereas you look at sports like boxing and Muay Thai, the more you do it, there's always something new to learn.
Definitely.
You never get to a point and go, I'm done now, moving on.
Yeah.
I believe anyway.
Yeah, no, that's right. But I feel as well, like I could add on to that, I feel like with the fitness industry as well, there's too many, like, there's a lot of mentors, but they're not giving good advice. They're not giving concrete information. They're just having that, we call it gym bros. Like gym bro knowledge, like one more rep and I feel like the knowledge out there isn't being delivered correctly to, like, especially young lads. Like a big issue with lads is obviously steroid abuse. And you see it,
really?
It's massive.
Back home?
Massive, yeah, it's massive.
What age are they starting?
Well, because I've just finished my teaching degree, so I'm a high school science teacher, and the school that I had to do my second placement in, one of the lads knew me from the boxing gym, so it was like, he used to call me by my first name instead of Mr. Singh. He was like, oh, Duran. I was like, yeah. He's like, so-and-so over there, is he on gear? And I was like, what made you say that? He goes, well, his bench press has gone from 60 kilos to 125 in the space of 6 weeks. I said, well, point him out. So I've seen him, his face is full of spots. His neck was like, I swear to God, basically his neck was that big where his tie was going to choke him. But the problem is as well, I feel like lack of information or correct information. Kids are just trying to like jump the process quick when training is a lifestyle. Yeah. You could say it yourself, like you don't compete as much as you used to or stuff, but you're still involved with it heavily. And that's the problem as well, I think, with the fitness industry. Like, it's wrong advice, and it's so accessible, steroids as well. So it's well, off the internet, you got people in the gym selling them and stuff though. Yeah, I said that's the problem. Yeah.
So how old was the kid?
He was 15. He was in year 11. He was just going to turn 16, or he was 15, but he was doing his GCSEs, which is like year 11. Wow. So yeah, it's quite scary, to be fair. It's quite scary. It's got nothing to do with fitness, this question is. I got asked this in the podcast that I was in.
Yeah.
What's your favourite film, and what's your favourite genre film?
One of my favourite films, I would have to say, I reckon Gladiator was a classic.
Yeah,
with Russell Crowe.
Have you seen the new one?
Yeah, not yet, but I've heard it's not as good.
Don't watch it, it's a waste of time. It's got nothing on the original.
Who's your favourite actor?
Favourite actor? It's got to be De Niro, De Niro in Heat, he's just serious.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's serious, man.
I love Denzel.
Denzel's really good as well. Yeah, there's a few, like, when we talk about certain films, so talking about Man on Fire, and I'll be like, yeah, Denzel Washington, he's the man. Then when you're talking about Heat, I'll be like, yeah, De Niro. So it just changes every time another film comes on.
Yeah.
So you've got kids, yeah. Are you going to put them into the sport?
I think it's up to them. Yeah. That's the one thing I want to think, like, long term for them is, what is the purpose? What does it serve?
Yeah, definitely.
If he wants to be a great striker, great. Boxing, Muay Thai, I wouldn't recommend anything else.
Yeah.
If he's getting bullied, boxing, Muay Thai, I wouldn't recommend anything else. Great way to handle business. If someone push and shove you, you can look after business or diffuse the situation.
100%.
But more importantly, not having to handle it, but actually having the awareness, and also to be humble enough not to become someone that starts altercations in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. I
actually started my boy, he's 4 years old, in jiu-jitsu probably about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it's been a game changer for him. Like, he's just entered kindergarten. He's doing half days, 5 days a week, from being 3 days a week. And what he's actually was doing previous to that, I'm giving a long story here, but he was coming home from kindergarten after a half day and just letting rip. Like, Whitney and I just standing there watching him just scream and carry on. Which means he's obviously, to some degree, holding it in at school, being well behaved. He comes home, he feels safe, he just lets mum and dad have it. what we noticed, but put him in jiu-jitsu, he's actually coming home and he's well balanced. Like he's a bit more chilled and he's got a bit of an outlet. He's got other kids to run around with, and I was watching a video the other day of him actually diffusing a tactic with a bully, and I was just like, that's great. You know?
Proud moment.
Yeah, it's young age starting to learn about that stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I really do, man. So, favourite boxer? And like, obviously there's so many greats, but straight one that comes off the top of your
Floyd
head.
Mayweather. Yeah, he handpicked a lot of his opponents and he got the right timing, but when you look at the complete package of a man that could sell the fight and he could talk the talk and then walk the walk, and then he made bank and then he continued to build his brand, the money team. I look at that as a very smart athlete who has long surpassed his career in the ring long term.
I've got
set himself up. Who you got?
Me? Yeah. It has to be Roberto Duran, bro. I'm named after his favourite boxer. But my mate,
a funny character, man. I met him. He's hilarious. You met him as well,
right? He's hilarious. I've seen him twice, and he's hilarious, man. But my mates are the same as well. They love Mayweather, and every time we catch up for the boxing, it's just big discussions like, this, that, the other. But so you've got some T-shirts, haven't you?
Yes.
So
we've got our favourite boxers. I copped a bit of shit. I said these are some of the greatest boxers of all time, but I missed a couple as well. But you can see the green belt man in the middle himself, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Roy Jones, Mike, obviously, because he's such a bad man.
He is a badass, isn't he?
And yeah, there's some great boxers here, including Manny Pacquiao.
Definitely.
Roberto Duran, like George Foreman.
Nice. So how much do these go for, Pamorn?
I think they're... I'm not going to quote... Should have bloody checked that. I think it's $69.95. I'll make sure I get it right.
My bad. But the champions...
Did I get that right? $69.95?
I think close.
Close. There we go.
So
I might be in trouble for that.
So good. But you've got a sale on with a lot of your merchants, your clothing and stuff like that as well. So guys, check out the website. Some great deals on. There's 40% off some stuff, 30% off other stuff.
Easter sale coming up.
Yeah, great quality as well. Pamorn gave me some gloves, and I swear to God, I highly recommend them. They got the really good wrist support as well, really good. So definitely, I would ask you, because obviously this podcast is for everybody. I don't know much about Thai boxing, but the Thai boxer I do like is Liam Harrison.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite Thai boxer?
My favourite Muay Thai fighter would have to be Sanchai.
Right. Okay.
Have you heard of Sanchai?
I've heard of him. I've only moving to here, I've started to watch a bit more of One Championship, like working with you guys and whatnot. But like I said, Liam Harrison, like UK lad, and I've watched a couple of his videos, and he's sick. He is.
Did a podcast with Liam back in COVID.
Oh, did you?
It's a funny story. One of our managers actually messaged him on Instagram and was like, "Hey, would you mind jumping on this podcast?"
Oh, fair play.
And he replied straight away. I was like, "Yeah, I'm keen. Let me know when and where." And he just showed up at it must have been 5 a.m. or something because we had the time difference.
Yeah.
When he opened the camera, he's like, "Oh, I know your dad." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, no shit." Yeah, because he obviously a long time back from Bangkok when he was first there. Before there was like an influx of Western people training at Muay Thai gyms. There was a very sort of limited crew of Western fighters training and living in Thailand because it was strictly Thais. They didn't want any of the Western world out there, and it was huge. It was like huge stadium fights with like the best of the best in Thailand.
What year was that, Pete?
So it kind of all started to change post 2007, 2009.
Right, okay.
Where I think they realised there's a big market for people that want to train authentically and live in the Thai boxing camp. And they kind of opened it right up. Post-COVID as well, they actually changed the rules in the major stadium to allow women to actually fight in the stadiums.
Right.
So prior to, when did COVID finish? I can't remember now. It's kind of
2021, let's just say.
2021. Prior to that, for 100 to 150 years or whatever it was, women weren't allowed to even touch their hand on a ring because the Thais are so superstitious. They believe that it bring bad luck to the boxers that actually fought in that arena, they weren't allowed whatsoever, which is crazy. Like you said, male dominated. That's one example. Post-COVID, I think Muay Thai almost died a very quick death in that a lot of the gyms couldn't operate, a lot of them shut, a lot of their boxers turned to crime, and because they love living life on the edge, adrenaline-wise. Like I think 50,000 gyms in Thailand became like 20,000 gyms because they just shut down so quick. So they had to do something fast.
Oh, wicked. Could you put the link on that for the Liam Harrison podcast?
Yeah,
I'd
absolutely.
love to watch that.
Definitely.
Check it out and that, man.
One thing that I love about Liam, if I can kind of just elaborate, is that he is a man that is, no matter how famous he's become, he always has time to speak to the people that support him.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think one thing about that, it shows a lot of humility, and it shows no matter how big and great and how famous you are, you still got time for people.
I love that.
I've kind of followed people over the years, and there's some people that get so famous they forget about you.
Yeah.
And I find that a little bit hard because we're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
We all come and we all go.
Yeah.
and we've got to make sure we kind of, pay homage to the people that support us. And
100%, totally agree with you.
Have you seen the same?
Have you seen what, sorry?
Have you seen the same, like with people that you've known, like they get big and they forget?
Yeah, definitely. There's a few lads that I've seen that, and then what happens is when their career doesn't go to plan, and they come back to the old boys and try and like, how you doing, bro? You alright? Yeah, yes. So I've seen that. But like you said, like Liam Harrison's, we've got a few mates as well in the UK.
Yeah.
They've made it in the boxing industry really well, man.
Yeah.
And they are very like supportive with local lads. Like, big credit to them, massive credit to them, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do really appreciate that.
I do really love people that get behind each other in the industry, because when you think about fight sports, it is a very small industry. A lot of people know each other, and I think when you get behind each other and you help the local lads and you get behind each other, it only builds the sport to a positive direction.
That's what you want to do, innit? You just want to help people in a positive way, man. But yeah, so the next question is like, I know you like Thai boxing. Yep. What's happening with the fishing?
The fishing.
You're a bit of a fishing man.
So I tore my Achilles when Ada was born, my first daughter, my second child.
Yeah.
I tore my Achilles in sparring in my first 30 seconds, probably 2 weeks after she was born, or a week after she was born.
Right.
Whitney was fucking pissed off. She was really upset. But what I usually do is chase pigs around the bush. I'm an avid adrenaline junkie since I quit fighting. So I catch wild boars. But since not being able to run through the bush, I started fishing with my drone.
Right.
And I love fishing.
Yeah.
One thing I really love catching is big fish. So how did you find it last time?
I went with Pamorn and I'm with a mate Brady. We went there. Pamorn will tell you, man, I was like a kid in a candy shop when we caught them fish. What was the shark called?
Wobbegong shark.
Oh mate, we caught 5 of them, and I was about 5 of them in it. I was just like, Ross.
When we got there, it was literally blowing a gale, and then the rain came in sideways as we were setting up our swags. And man,
class.
I was thinking to myself, this is probably I wouldn't go out in this weather. And me and Brady looked at each other and we're like, we didn't see the rain or the wind coming up this bad.
Yeah.
And I looked over at you and I'm like, Duran, you're good. And you're like, man, this is better than being at home.
Seeing the shark, and it was like, oh, these sharks ain't even that great. I was like, mate, we catch carp and perch and horrible fish.
Can you eat them?
I don't think you could eat carp, nah, and perch are just nah. And then we caught some snapper, didn't you?
Snapper,
yeah. But that was a good one. That was.
We'll have to take you out on a day where it's not.
Oh mate, I'm on that. Fishing, highly recommend that. If you're not boxing, mate, you need to go fishing. Straight up, go fishing.
I think there's a power of just being at one with nature and kind of
so
connecting
peaceful.
with like. Yeah. The city is so busy. Like we think of our phones and how much we're distracted.
Oh,
and
it's mad.
When you go out and there's no reception, you come back feeling almost like refreshed.
I'll be honest, when we was fishing, I felt like a teenager or a young kid again, where I was just no worries, bliss, just chilling in the ocean with like good friends like me and my best pal Alex. We're like that. We do everything together like proper. So when we meet up, it's just like kids again, and that's how I felt being on the beach. It was just wicked.
Yeah,
but
now you say that, it kind of does remind me of that. It's like you just kind of.
Just
not a care in the world.
Not a care in the world. Well, the only thing that you're concerned about is catching a bigger fish.
It's true.
Straight up, man. So, would you get back into competing again, or?
That's a question that I've asked myself quite often recently, especially with Whitney jumping back in the ring.
Oh, that was impressive.
Second child.
I love that fight, man.
I haven't fought since I was 19, and one thing that kind of was hard for me is I fell out with my dad, who was my coach, and I'm the sort of guy that couldn't pick up across town and end up in another gym under some other coach. I don't know why. It just doesn't. It's almost like taking my heart out and then trying to replace it with an artificial one. Yeah. I'm the sort of guy. I said to myself when I opened Champions Gym, I'm going to build this place and build a team that I can actually, if I want to fight, I'll fight.
Yeah.
And I've got to that stage only 14 years later. I'm 38 now. So what's that? That's still a lifetime ago. And to answer your question, part of me is also like, what purpose does it serve if I come back to fight? Because I'm the sort of guy that will go and do all or nothing. I won't half-ass it.
Which is fair.
Nutrition, running, mindset, and when I think back to some of the things that I was doing prior to having my last fight, was that I became very obsessive. I became obsessive to the point where it started to cost me, like, I was so obsessed. Like the details on every little bit. I wouldn't miss reps, I wouldn't miss kilometers, I wouldn't miss macronutrients. And to me, it kind of ended up becoming a bit of a detriment because I didn't understand having the right mindset, and having maybe a coach perhaps to walk me through that may have changed things for sure. The other thing I was going to say is, how has the sport developed since I walked away from the sport as a competitor?
Yeah.
And I don't believe, well, to some degree things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
But to the other degrees, there's things that I would love to improve and change. And I tried that as a promoter myself as well. But I think what really has to happen for us as an industry is everyone to work together
Yeah.
and have a common goal to better the industry and the sport,
Definitely.
which is slowly getting there, but it's still not a lot of things have changed, unfortunately.
Okay.
So for me, I think of it, I was like, yeah, I could do it to say, yeah, I've done it and prove my ego, but I just feel like I took the fire that I would have done as a fighter and applied it to my business.
Which is good though. So
It was good, but
yeah.
I don't know, part of me and my ego is always like, go on, go back. That's why I still spar with the guys. That's why I still
Really?
stay active. But
Okay.
I don't know, I'm just like,
To be fair, I've seen you spar as a boxer as well. You got some skill, you know.
Oh, thank
like,
you.
Your feints are good, and like you got some good. I'm not going to give all your tips away on the podcast.
no, I've got no cardio.
Catch me out with the
Thank you,
cardio.
thank you. Yeah, no, I think I love just mixing it up with the guys.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it really does keep you humble because you're like, sometimes you have a shit day, you
Yeah,
go into
yeah.
spar, you feel better. You have a really good day, you go in there, you get pummeled, and you're like, fuck, I need to go train harder.
Yeah.
Do you ever have those days?
Yeah, I think every guy does. I think not every guy. I think every fighter does, 100%. But and that's the reality of it as well. Like I feel like as well, being here, like and seeing the way Champions does the grading system and that really cater for the fighters. You really look after them. Like I'll be honest, man. In the UK, it's very just put them in after 2 weeks. I remember sparring one kid when I was young, and the kid's had like I think he was going for his national championship. I've had no fights at this time. Got beat black and blue. Like I didn't even have like an understanding of how to correctly throw a jab because it is an art really. If you're leaning too much, you're going to leave yourself vulnerable. If you got this, that, the other, and I had no understanding. I just got beat up. So that's what I do appreciate and I really like about Champions Gym. You actually look after the fighters. You're not just throwing them in the pit. Like you're really looking after them. So
I appreciate that feedback.
I really do, man.
One thing I noticed for a lot of people coming into a fight gym specifically is there was always this case of like you're either a fighter or you're either not. If you're a fighter, a lot of people will give you a lot of time and effort. If you're not a fighter, a lot of the people just be like, oh yeah, okay, cool, and then you end up on the bag, or you end up just not getting any feedback or attention whatsoever. And for me, you want to make sure that everyone is looked after, right?
100%.
Everyone's got different goals.
Definitely.
I've got guys that are like 50, 60. I had a guy that had an altercation with an ex-employee outside of work, and he got beaten up. So he came here to start, and he's done so well.
I love that.
I got another lady who she's just given birth to her second child and she can't wait to get back to training. I had one lady that trained right up until giving birth and I'm like, that's amazing, you know. She doesn't want to be a fighter. She doesn't care about fighting. Got another guy, he's like a high level chef at a Peruvian restaurant and like his life is stressful. He's got kids, family. He trains every single day like clockwork and you can see these types of high performing people that they make time for themselves, they focus on themselves, they don't give a fuck about fighting, but they really do so well and excel in their own life as well.
100%, yeah, 100%. And like, it is keeping fit just for some people, like you said, like the guy had an altercation. So, health is wealth.
Yeah.
It's a big point, man. Massive point.
I think when you realise that life is short and you only lose people, you only realise when you start to lose people you love. You're like, alright, cool. When I get old, if I'm not strong, if I'm not fit, and I can't look after myself, it's going to be a very fucking unenjoyable old man life. You ever think about that?
Oh, mate, as soon as I'm getting older, 5 more years, I'm 40, I've been thinking about a lot, so I totally understand where you're coming from. Totally
I try to say it to so many people, like, yeah, I get it, you don't want to do it now because work, life, busy, whatever. But in 20 years' time, your body will thank you for it.
And definitely, and like you said as well, age is really, it's just how you look at it. There's some guys from the other gym, Dr. Mike, like, he's 40 odd, but he is a great athlete, man.
Dr. Mike is a special athlete.
Yeah, he's a great
He's a
athlete.
special human, I should say. Because like, if you watch him, I've travelled with him interstate before to fight on the Masters Games. And I watch the way he operates as a businessman and also how passionate he is in his field.
Wicked.
He's a doctor, but he's also talks about skincare. One thing that I actually learned about Dr. Mike as well, a bit of inside scoop for you all who may know him, is that he's also learning a lot about biohacking. The chemistry with what happens on a cellular level and how we can beat aging, or if we can slow the process down. And I was like, wow, this is mind blowing for me because I'm at a time in my life at 38 where I can be like, tell me more, so that when I get to 83, it's not going to suck as much.
Fully. And that's the thing, is what you want to
37 or 38? 37, sorry. Forget my age. Shit. Stop counting after 35.
Oh, mate, I don't want to talk about it.
How old are you?
Me, I'm 35.
35.
Yeah, 35, man. But 5 more years, I'm 40, bro, and it sounds scary. So, and I do believe in like leading by example as well, like yourself. So, you got businesses. You also train with the lads, like you said. Maybe a bit of an ego thing, but bottom line is you're keeping fit. and people need to be around positive energy, and they need to see that like there are good people out there and follow their good traits as well. It's so easy to fall in. It's like, I'll be honest with you, P. You know, in Birmingham, it's so easy to fall in badness because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like I'm lucky I'm from a good family, but some of my friends are unfortunate where they've had really rough upbringings, and now they're in some bad situations. And like, as soon as you walk out on the road, it's completely different. Like, here is nice, I'll be honest, it's so beautiful, it's no drama. Birmingham is just like a concrete jungle. And it's a shame because it was a great town. It still is a great town, there are good people there. Like, I'm not mocking my town at all, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's not right. So leading by example, I totally agree with, and I think you do that well as well for the gym.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate
definitely.
It's all about just being around the right people, I think. You know, I've had friends that turn to alcohol and smoking weed, and then they try meth, and then it's just a downward spiral. And I sometimes think about, there was days where you'd party when you were younger and you'd wake up the next day and the sun's come up and you haven't slept and you're like, been drinking all night. That's such a horrible feeling, man. But for some people, that's a very normal reality. Looking at it from one point of view, very extreme point of view, obviously, but I've been there and I still see some people involved in that. And I think to myself, that's great now, but how much can your body tolerate of that punishment before it says that's enough, or it just backs up?
It's mad, isn't it?
And it's a slow, painful, arduous death, and everyone around you has got to put up with that.
It's bad.
And that's what I really just like. Oh, I'd hate to go down that route, you know. But it's easy to spiral into, depending on who you hang with.
And that's just what I'm saying. Like, being around the right circle is so important. So important. So the next question is what books do you read, and what book would you recommend?
Books, I'm not a great reader, if I'm honest. I'm an audiobook man because I drive a lot, and I've got the kids, and sometimes long drives to fishing or hunting, I always listen to audiobooks.
Okay.
One book that I read that was really, really powerful is... let's start you first, because I've got to remember my titles. I can't remember the last time I had an audiobook that wasn't involved with business.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, that's fair. I read a lot of business books. But I know for a lot of people, you're not all interested in business. But what's your favourite book?
See, I've read a few books as well, but I would say one of the books that really changed my life was The Alchemist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a fictional book, but there's so many life lessons in that one book. I read that book, and I'll be honest with you, 3 hours later I booked Mexico. I went to Mexico. I went to train at this gym where, you know, Manuel Marquez, it was his boxing gym with Nacho Benitez.
How was it?
Oh, one of the best experiences I've had. Like, I'll be honest, I went there and everybody, all the locals were like, don't go there, it's dangerous. Even the locals don't go. But I was like, nah, I've come here for that reason. I want to go and train there. I went and trained there, and I swear to God, there's too many world champions in that one gym. Everyone's just ready to fight. The sparring is so intense, or it's like a full-on fight. That was a great experience, man. And then I trained with in my eyes, one of the greatest coaches ever.
Who was it?
Nacho Benitez.
Oh yeah.
He trained Manuel Marquez. Like, when you go to the gym, there's loads of pictures of Marquez beating. You know, when he knocked out Pacquiao on the fourth one. Like, I love Pacquiao. Pacquiao was one of my favourite boxers. When I was seeing that, I was like, rah.
Yeah, that rhythm's definitely timed perfectly. And just put on his top lip. That was amazing.
But what I learned from that book was tomorrow is not promised. So if you're going to set yourself a challenge, if you're going to try and achieve a goal, if you want to build on a relationship, financially, love, family, like, do it. Because there's no time like the present. That's what I really thought, you know what, I've always wanted to do this as a young man. I'm not getting any younger. COVID's hit. It's the only country that I can go without a vaccination. I'm gonna go and do it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One of my favourite books, to answer your question, that is not so much a business book, would be Relentless by Tim Grover.
Oh, I've read that.
Yeah. And one thing I love about Tim Grover, I actually follow him on Instagram, and my friend got me a signed book. Because I love the book so much, is that he was Kobe's strength coach, he was Michael Jordan's strength coach, and his mentality of whatever you do, work harder, get the result. I'm not going to accept your excuse. And that was one thing that was just like, it was an eye-opener. When you read the mentality of the coach, that sort of coach that Tim was, and the sort of people and the human beings he was working with, showed you that if you had the right mentality, you showed up, you listened, you did the work, the result came. Because I link it back to myself. There's far too many times where I myself as an athlete expected that there was going to be some divine intervention to give me what I was looking for. And it was weird, because you start to think like, oh, you know, maybe I'm going to get given this by chance because I'm working and I'm lucky. The truth is, when you listen to Tim Grover and Relentless, you just got to fucking do it. Don't fucking think it.
100%.
And there's a coach there with the fucking finger at your back saying, keep fucking going, because it's coming. If you slow down, you're not getting shit.
Got to be a cleaner right now.
And I was just like, wow, be a cleaner, exactly.
My sister, my older sister, she recommended me that book, and I listened to it, and I was like, that was a great recommendation. So, it's a great book. So, last question is, what's the future for Pamorn? Are we going to see you in the ring? It'd be nice to see you. Or are we going to get more fighters in them titles? Because when you look around the gym, there's a lot of pictures with fighters with titles, medals, and what's the future for champions as well?
It's a good question. For me, like I've thought about this quite a lot, is like what's next for me, and I think for me it's all about just making a positive impact on the human race. The more people I can help, the more people I can give what fight sports gave me, and I can give them, the happier I'll be as a human being, because whether we like it or not, we're not getting out of this alive. And people will never remember you if you never gave service to others. And for me, I want to be remembered for doing something great.
I respect that a lot.
I've also got kids where I'd like to see them see me lead by example.
Yeah, I love that.
Live a healthy lifestyle, do well, and be good to others.
Yeah, definitely.
And the others come back.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep catching big fish. I'm gonna keep catching big boars, and I'm gonna keep taking people like yourself who've never had the rush experience.
I can't wait to catch that picture. What was the fish that you caught at your shoulders? That
Kingfish.
Mate, that fish was huge.
24 kilos.
That was a big boy. That fish was.
1.4.
It tastes nice as well.
Yeah, it's good. 1.4 meters long. It was huge.
Massive. But
what about yourself? What's next for Duran?
well, my next move is basically I do want to progress and I want to get better and bigger in the fitness industry. I want a very similar vision as yours. I want to help people through fitness. Like I've seen the rewards. I've seen with my own struggles, my own issues. Like, we're all human.
Yeah.
We all have inner demons and things like that. And I've seen that the positives that boxing, fitness, the people in the gym have helped me get through. And it's not just fitness, it's family and friends and things like that, like 100%. But boxing's a big part of my life where I've seen people come out of crime, I've seen kids do better, like, so I really want to push that more on a bigger scale. That's the truth, bigger scale. But that's what I'm looking to do soon, to be fair.
Yeah, and I guess my question for you, Duran, is what do you love the most about Australia?
Australia, it's going to be you, Pamorn.
Yeah.
More champions, man. CEO of champions, the main man out here.
You told me the beach.
Nah, to be fair, I love everything about Australia. The people, the beach, the fishing. My best pal's there as well, so I don't feel like I miss home too much. So when I see him, it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a beautiful country, to be fair. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Awesome, man. So where can people follow your journey and your story online?
So you can follow us on Instagram, which is personaltrainer_Duran. That's the personal training page. We also do a prep meal page with my mum. She's the cook. It's called Duran's Mum's Cooking. And the story behind that is my mum, she's your typical Punjabi lady where she just loves feeding and hosting and stuff. So when a couple of the boys used to come around, my mates, and like, oh, what's Duran's mum cook? What's Duran's mum's cook? So we started making healthy Punjabi prep meals over COVID.
Wow.
And we're going to try and definitely get that back going as well, doing cookbook and things like that. So yeah, you can hit us up on that definitely. But
great.
Yeah.
Duran, I appreciate your time today. Thank you for putting me under the grill and also
it's been a
having the
pleasure.
opportunity to speak yourself.
It's a pleasure, mate, honestly.
If you've all watched this far, really appreciate your time to get to know Duran and myself. My name is Pamorn Mardi. You can follow me on Instagram at Pamorn Mardi. Thank you for listening, and make sure you like, comment and subscribe. If you do want to hear any sort of subjects in particular, shoot us a DM, otherwise post a comment below. Thanks for watching.
Nice one. Cheers. Appreciate it, bro.
Great. That went good.
Thank